With some insane battle royale gameplay and a robust community of fans across the world, Fortnite is one of the most loved games of all time. As of June 2018, the game has 125 million players, and given the kind of global appreciation its makers Epic Games is receiving, Fortnite is only getting bigger by the day. But there are still a few things about the game that even the Fortnite pros don't know about. From mind-baffling stats and figures to insane lawsuits, the island of Fortnite Battle Royale has seen some remarkable things happen. We tell you all about those, and then some more, in this set of Top Trending. $318 million in May. According to a report by Business Insider, Fortnite made a rollicking $318 million in May of 2018. That's 95 million more than any other free-to-play game ever released. So how do they make all the money if the game is free to play, with in-game purchases like characters, outfits, dance moves, and even tools? As of the end of June, Fortnite has raked in a staggering $1.2 billion in lifetime revenue for Epic Games. In fact, Fortnite might have changed the way free-to-play game makers generate revenue forever. Ever since it was launched in 2017, more and more game makers are emulating its free-to-play $318 million with in-app purchases for their games. And $318 million might not be the highest that Fortnite ends up earning in a month. With the game launching in new places all around the world, it's perhaps a matter of months or even weeks before Fortnite sends its own record to the second spot. Fortnite Twitch stats over the past 365 days. By the very make of it, Twitch is an immediate reflection of public interest in stuff that happens on computer screens. From the looks of it, it's not the money records that Fortnite is having a go at. If the Twitch numbers for the game are anything to go by, we've got some serious phenomenon here. The Fortnite channel on Twitch has been sitting on top of the chart for a while now, with a total of 847 million hours of viewing time. The peak stat for the max viewers at a time went up to 1.4 million viewers, with a solid 97,000 viewing on average. That's just the viewers. The total broadcast time of the channel has been no less than 44.7 million hours, with a maximum number of 23,749 channels streaming Fortnite on Twitch in the past 365 days. You can judge the game's popularity by the fact that over 5,000 channels are streaming Fortnite on Twitch right now. Coming of age. Fortnite makers announced the game back in 2011. It was released 6 years later in July 2017, which would seem like a very long time in the gaming world. But PUBG makers worked overnight to release their game first, and Fortnite makers realized that they had lost the opportunity to make first strike. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds managed to seize the early Battle Royale momentum in a big way. Meanwhile, Fortnite makers went back to the drawing board and made every change in the game to make sure Fortnite didn't look like a copy of PUBG. By the time of Fortnite's release, PUBG had become an extremely popular game. Nevertheless, Fortnite launched as a free game with the Pixar-inspired setting in July and earned millions for its makers. But few game makers are as ideal-driven as Fortnite developers. Ever since the early success of Fortnite, a band of other games have copied the look, feel, and gameplay of Fortnite. However, legitimate contenders like Crazy Justice, The Darwin Project, and SOS are adding more character and depth to the Battle Royale gameplay. We can't tell if any of these games will ever be a replacement for PUBG or Fortnite. The good thing is, the video game player now has more options than ever before. The Cartoonish Aesthetic. The original game design and aesthetic was supposed to be a lot creepier than the way it came out at the end of July 2017. The look of the enemies was particularly rumored to be straight out of the scary movies. Former design director Cliff Bleszinski claims that the look of the husks and other enemies were never as cartoonish on the drawing board. Bleszinski also stated that it was all supposed to be scary at the start. The cartoonish feel was adopted a lot later when people found the game way too grim and the environment felt very exhaustive. Moreover, that kind of a feel would invite more competition than they were already dealing with. If you're a game maker, you will not want to compete at once with a horror game like DayZ and Battle Royale giant PUBG. None of that is to suggest that the game is not creepy when it comes to the baddies, but it's that kind of feel where anyone between the age of 10 and 40 can go and give the game a spin. Design inspiration came from Pixar, Looney Tunes, and Tim Burton. Once the game makers decided that they wanted to do away with the scarier graphics, they were committed to the cartoonish aesthetic. The inspiration for the nature of the graphics came flowing in from some of the top cartoons in Western history. The first company that comes to our minds when speaking of stellar computer-generated animation is Pixar, which naturally became a striking influence in the new design. Popular 2000s cartoon show Looney Tunes also served as a major influence in the design of the game. The inspiration for the creepy part was borrowed from Tim Burton's movies like A Nightmare Before Christmas and The Corpse Bride. It's quite clear that Tim Burton was a very strong influence in the new design. His movies made scary scenes okay for kids to watch. It's now known that all these strong influences did some kind of wonder to the game. Fortnite on the final exam. High school teacher Mike McRae is known for his chemistry teaching skills among students, but he evidently doesn't know a lot about Fortnite. For some of his students, it's definitely the other way around. After McRae recently lost a Fortnite bet, the students might have a better chance at passing his class. Here's how the challenge went. McRae was asked by a couple of his students to pick a whole number. He went with 6,700. The students said that if they got 6,700 retweets for their tweet, McRae would make their final exam about Fortnite. McRae is someone who knows neither between Twitter and video games, and replied yes to the challenge. Twitter magic happened, and the tweet was retweeted over 30,000 times. Now McRae is finding ways to turn the chemistry exam into something about pistols and paragliders. But we're guessing he won't use too much Fortnite terminology, and keep the questions mostly about chemistry. Fortnite in the NBA. The chemistry class isn't the only place where Fortnite became popular overnight. Professional NBA player Josh Hart is a guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, and as it turns out, a big Fortnite fan. He got himself Fortnite-inspired shoes and wore them to court in February earlier this year. The handiwork was done by Los Angeles-based artist Salvador Amezcua, popularly known as Kickstardamus. The custom-made Nike sneakers are in thematic purple and green combination and look pretty slick. Josh's Fortnite avatar is done with his name J Hart. Another line reads, "Eliminated by Josh Hart Nova." And there's the glider too. Josh donned his cool new Fortnite shoes during the warm-up match against Sacramento Kings on February 24th. We do not know if he wore the shoes for the actual game, because it could be against NBA rules. Nevertheless, Josh scored 10 points in that game. Drop us a comment below if you ever had or get the chance to team up with Josh Hart Nova on Xbox. The Money Ninja. Ninja was always popular on Twitch, even before the time celebs made random appearances on his channel. He's easily the most popular streamer on Twitch, and Fortnite has sent his fan following to crazy highs. In fact, he just became the first and for the time being the only Twitch streamer with 10 million followers. While Ninja has been streaming for a long time now, his recent exploits on Fortnite remain unparalleled. As of March 2018, he had 3.7 million followers on Twitch and 5 million subscribers on YouTube. Between March and now, his Twitch following has shot up to 10 million, and Ninja has the support of a staggering 16 million on YouTube. Eurogamer.net reported his monthly earnings to be around $500,000 in March. Since then, his followers on both Twitch and YouTube have been multiplied thrice over. Does that mean 500,000 multiplied by 3 every month? The rise that Ninja has seen after playing Fortnite is meteoric, but he has definitely come a long way since he had been playing Halo professionally almost a decade ago. Yes, he was 16 then. Ninja says he never lost focus on other important things like his job at the noodle company and his school while browbeating others at Halo. Lawsuit against a 14-year-old. The mother isn't too happy. A 14-year-old player, Caleb Rogers, aka Sky Orbit, made a video in which he demonstrated the use of a hack he recently found in the game. You'd feel that's common of almost every game, but the company sent YouTube a loaded copyright takedown notice. Fortnite claimed that capturing footage of incidental gameplay is a copyright violation. In addition, laying out the functionality of aftermarket add-ons is another instance of copyright violation by Sky Orbit. But Caleb, or his parents, did the smart thing. He asserted that there was no intended copyright infringement in capturing small parts of the video game. They constitute fair use because they take small piece of the work and not use the creator's core work, and analyze them for critical purposes only without creating a secondary market for the work. Rogers filed a putback notice with YouTube for restraining his video. Epic responded in bizarre fashion by filing a lawsuit against him. They reiterated the same claim that in effect, Rogers formed and then breached the contract with Epic by showing others how to cheat cheat in the game. All of this culminated to an epic memo written by Caleb's mother, Lauren Rogers. She pointed out that while Epic Games claims that her minor child cannot form a contract, they have sued him for breaching it. Moreover, the publishing company had released news that Caleb's name was on, which is a violation of the child protection law. Fortnite used to be similar to Farmville. Fortnite has successfully managed to keep changing the look and feel of its game intermittently without upsetting too many followers. But this was before the time the game was formally released. Back when it was being tested, the first versions of the story mode let users play Farmville on the game. Yes, had the game been that way, you'd have the opportunity to grow vegetables and feed survivors. So you can actually control and maintain a full garden while playing the game. But somehow, this idea didn't make it through the testing stage. Because, to be honest, dealing with zombie madness, avoiding traps, and ensuring proper fortification while periodically watering the plants could be a tad bit too much to handle all at the same time. Fortnite winner. Well, not really. For a time, Reddit was flooded with mentions about this person whose actual name on the game is Fortnite winner. With that kind of a name, we're thinking he's built himself some kind of a reputation on the game. However, turns out that he's not very good at the game. He's played over 1,000 games and has barely got a solo win to his name. The guy's mostly relied on his teammates to snatch victory royales while playing in squads. Do we mind? No. And do we hold that against him? Not really. But he definitely could be playing the game with the wrong name.